In our previous lesson, we've allocated all of our materials onto the various modelling layers. Now we're at a point where we can begin to allocate the final material finishes to our model. In order to practice this now, we're going to focus on the base of our mobile traffic light design. So what we need to do initially is simply open up our model tree and switch off the items that aren't required at this stage. So the light unit, we can also highlight all three in one go and left click to turn that off. And we can also turn off the con layer at this stage. So we've just got the base of the unit in view in the perspective viewport. We can open up the model tree under base and expose the component parts there, and we're going to, at least initially, allocate all of our materials via the layer manager. Firstly, let's switch our perspective view to rendered, and you can see we've just got a plain white finish or default grey finish at this stage for our model. To begin with, let's allocate a colour to the hazard yellow elements. So if we just left click on the white circle under the material column, you'll see our standard material editor comes up. A handy practice is always to allocate a material name when you're opening up the material editor. So in this case, we'll just call it hazard yellow base. That way, when you're importing the model between various operators in an office or transferring the model between other programs, when you're allocating the material using the layer manager in Rhino, it will transfer that information more easily, and rather than hunt for just a generic number, you've got a written reference that's easier to work with. So now we're just going to left click on the color setting. And you'll see on this color selector here, we've got it's quite a large color selector to work with. We can simply roll it around the outer edge of the color wheel. We can change the values arbitrarily and just get a visual match to what we require. Or alternatively, if we're working off a color swatch which has been sent to us by a supplier, we can also key that information in using hue, saturation and value, or alternatively RGB, red, green and blue. So in this particular case, we're going to put it in using RGB. So we're just going to type in 251, then tab, then 195, then tab, then 27. And you can see we've got a fairly orange looking hazard color that we require. We click OK, we confirm that it's been titled, and then we simply click OK. You can see that the color is already allocated. So in order to get a plain color, we can just reference it straight from the screen. Okay, the next one that we'll look at will be the chrome base. Now for the moment, we're just going to allocate it as a mid-tone gray. So we left click on the white circle. We'll call it basic chrome. There we go. And we allocate the colors by clicking on the color bar, and we'll allocate by RGB again. So it'll be 83 tab, 83 tab, 83 tab. Click OK. There's our base color. And in this particular case, we're just going to change the reflectivity up slightly. Okay, we'll just take it up to about 12%. Click OK, and it will be allocated to the chrome elements there. Next one, we need to do the gunmetal color. So we just left click on the circle. We'll title it so we've got a reference, gunmetal. Click on the color bar, and in this particular case, the color reference, RGB, will be 56, tab 56, tab, and the last number will be 60 on the blue. Click OK, and this time we'll adjust the gloss setting to 50%. So just there will be fine. Click OK, and the color has now been allocated with a certain amount of gloss to the base, so you can see it's instantly showing up on screen. The chrome color is allocated to the base of the feet. Now the last element that we need to allocate will be the rubber feet. So in this particular case, left click on the white circle, allocate a name to the material, feet black. Next, click on the color bar. There's no reflectivity, we've just got solid rubber feet, and the color code RGB will be 0, 0, 0. Okay, so just basic black. Click OK. Okay, so you can see that we've now got the colours allocated on the base of the design. Oop. And we can undo, handy opportunity there. And one thing is, once we've dealt with the material, to save that very thing that just happened then, we can lock off the layers as required. So you can see the padlock at this section here. We can either lock the layers individually, or we can close and lock the parent layer. So you'll see if we open that again, all of the sub layers have been allocated. Okay, we're just going to pause there. Now let's look at another layer up, because we can allocate materials another way. So if we right click on the layer manager, this time we're going to open up the main pole. You'll notice it's still currently white, but we can also allocate the color via matching. So if we just simply left click on the main material tab there, the material editor will come up, and in the bottom of the screen there you'll see match. So simply click match, click on the color that we want to match to, which will be, we've got to just open up our layer manager again there. So we're going to unclick our traffic light, our base. There we go, we've opened it up, and we'll click it on. So what we've done there, just to revisit that, is you'll see that the hazard yellow has been allocated to the main pole. And the way we've done that is we've left clicked on the layer manager, we've unlocked the base layer that we locked a moment ago, and then we've selected the color that was allocated to the hazard yellow. So we've now designated hazard yellow to the main pole. Okay, in the next lesson, we'll continue to allocate the materials to the top section of the traffic light, but for now, that's a basic introduction to the allocation of materials using the layer manager.